Welcome to Headphone News, International Edition for Sunday, December 8, 2024.
Trump's presidential behavior and campaign spending insights. Donald Trump is acting as if he's already president, engaging with foreign leaders and making threats about tariffs, even though he won't be sworn in for another 45 days. Recent reports show that Kamala Harris' campaign raised $160 million and spent $277 million in the final weeks of the election. In contrast, Trump's campaign raised $87 million and spent $113 million during the same period. Harris allocated $129 million for media buys, while Trump spent $95.1 million. She also invested $25.4 million on voter outreach, compared to Trump's $3 million on SMS advertising. Notably, Harris' campaign spent $45.5 million on event production. The reopening of Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris will see Trump join French President Emmanuel Macron, marking his return to the global stage. Elon Musk contributed over $20 million to a super PAC supporting Trump, part of a larger $250 million investment in his campaign. These financial dynamics highlight how campaign spending influences political outcomes and the role of celebrity endorsements in shaping public perception. Understanding these factors is crucial as we approach the 2024 election.
Concerns about Tulsi Gabbard's intelligence nomination. Tulsi Gabbard, a former U.S. representative from Hawaii, is facing concerns from both political parties regarding her nomination for a senior intelligence role under President-elect Donald Trump. Her past actions, especially a controversial meeting with Syrian President Bashar al-Assad in 2017, have raised alarms among lawmakers. In 2018, congressional aides worried that Gabbard might reveal the identity of a Syrian defector during a private briefing. This defector, known as Caesar, risked his life to expose serious human rights violations by the Assad regime, which have led to the deaths of hundreds of thousands of Syrians. Gabbard's views on Syria and Russia have confused and alarmed her colleagues, raising questions about her ability to handle confidential information responsibly. The effects of her nomination could significantly impact U.S. intelligence operations and foreign policy in the Middle East, particularly concerning ongoing conflicts in Syria. This situation highlights the critical need for trust in intelligence officials and the potential risks of leaking classified information.
Boeing's lobbyist departure and ongoing challenges. Syed Oyakli, Boeing's head of government affairs and top lobbyist, has left the company effective immediately. Boeing CEO Kelly Ortberg announced that Bill McSherry will take over as the interim replacement. Oyakli joined Boeing in September 2021 and previously worked for Ford Motor Company and SoftBank. This year, Boeing has faced serious scrutiny, especially after a safety incident involving an Alaska Airlines Boeing 737 MAX 9 jet, where a door plug blew off at 16,000 feet. This raised significant safety concerns and led to investigations by the U.S. Department of Justice and the Federal Aviation Administration, known as the FAA. Boeing is also dealing with criticism from U.S. lawmakers and has recently agreed to pay $487 million for defrauding the FAA. Ojakla's departure may indicate deeper issues within Boeing's leadership as the company works to improve its relationship with government entities. These developments could have serious effects on Boeing's financial stability and reputation in the aviation industry.
Australia's response to antisemitism amid criticism from Israel. The Australian government is actively addressing prejudice against Jews after facing criticism from Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. He accused the Labour government, led by Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, of fostering an anti-Israel environment following a deliberate fire at the Adass Israel Synagogue in Melbourne. This incident injured one person and caused considerable damage. In response, Murray Watt, Australia's Minister for Employment and Workplace Relations, highlighted the government's commitment to fighting anti-Semitism. He announced a funding boost of $25 million Australian dollars to Jewish organizations to enhance security at Jewish sites. Since taking office in May 2022, the Albanese government has implemented various actions, including banning the Nazi salute and tackling hate speech. The rise in incidents of prejudice against Jews in Australia has been linked to the ongoing Israel-Gaza conflict that began in October 2023. This situation raises important concerns about community safety and social harmony, as well as the potential impact on international relations between Australia and Israel.
Ghana's elections and economic outlook. Ghana held its presidential and parliamentary elections on December 7, 2024. Citizens are hopeful for an economic recovery after facing a tough financial crisis. President Nana Akufo-Addo is stepping down after serving 2 terms. The main candidates are Vice President Mahamudu Bawumia and former President John Dramani Mahama. These elections come after Ghana received a $3 billion financial assistance package from the International Monetary Fund in 2022 to help with its financial troubles. The economy is showing signs of recovery, with a 6.9% growth in the second quarter of 2024. About 18.7 million people are registered to vote in a country with a total population of 34 million. These elections are crucial for Ghana's economic future, which is currently dealing with high inflation and significant debt challenges. The results may also impact the terms of the IMF assistance and overall investor confidence in the region.
Chugoku Electric restarts Shimane nuclear reactor. Chugoku Electric Power has reopened the number 2 reactor at the Shimane nuclear power station in Japan after being closed for over 13 years. This reactor has a capacity of 820 megawatts and is part of Japan's plan to increase its operational reactors to 14, contributing to a total capacity of 13,253 megawatts. The reopening follows a major investment of 900 billion yen, which is about $6 billion, in safety measures required after the 2011 Fukushima disaster. The Japanese government expects that boosting nuclear power operations will help meet rising energy demands, especially from semiconductor manufacturing and data centers. Projected power output is expected to rise to between 1.35 trillion and 1.5 trillion kilowatt-hours by 2050, up from 1 trillion kilowatt-hours for this decade. This development is anticipated to increase Chugoku Electric's regular profit by 11 billion yen, or about $75 million, for the financial year ending in March, aided by lower fuel costs from reduced spending on fossil fuels. This marks a significant shift in Japan's energy policy towards nuclear power, aiming to enhance energy security and reduce reliance on imported fossil fuels.
Hong Kong court rejects protesters' appeal. A Hong Kong court has rejected an appeal from jailed protester Ma Chun-man regarding his 5-year prison sentence for encouraging separation under the national security law. This ruling is the first of its kind since the law was introduced by Beijing in 2020 to control dissent after major protests. Ma sought an early release for good behavior but was denied due to strict new rules. As of June 2024, more than 300 people have been arrested for security-related offenses, with over half facing charges. This ruling raises concerns about the decline of individual rights in Hong Kong, a special administrative region of China. Global condemnation continues over the law's impact on human rights and freedoms. The law has increased tensions between Hong Kong and Western countries, affecting business activities in the region. The ongoing situation highlights the struggle for rights in Hong Kong and the responses from the international community.
Denmark supports Ukraine with F-16 fighter jets. Denmark is stepping up to support Ukraine's defense efforts amid the ongoing conflict with Russia. On December 7, 2024, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky announced that a second batch of F-16 fighter jets has arrived from Denmark. These jets will greatly strengthen Ukraine's military capabilities. Since the conflict began in 2022, Denmark, a northern European country and a NATO member, has been actively providing military aid to Ukraine. This support aims to bolster Ukraine's independence and deter further hostility. The military assistance has broader implications for international relations, potentially escalating tensions with Russia and reinforcing NATO's defense agreements. This ongoing support highlights the significant global dynamics in Europe and the commitment of Western countries to assist Ukraine in its defense.
Impact of visa cuts on international students in Canada. Canada's federal government has announced a 10% cut in international student visas, reducing the target from 485,000 permits in 2024 to 437,000 permits for 2025 and 2026. This decision raises significant worries among educational leaders about the viability of colleges and universities, especially in remote areas where international students are essential for maintaining programs. Perry Johnston, the president of Colleges and Institutes Canada, pointed out that many college programs rely on international students to fill important gaps, particularly in high-cost fields like trades and healthcare. This reduction in visas may deter potential students, leading to lower enrollment and financial challenges for these institutions. International students contribute greatly to local economies, and fewer students could negatively impact housing and service sectors. This policy change could also harm Canada's reputation as a welcoming destination for higher education. It's crucial for stakeholders in education and the economy to understand these effects.
BRICS nations stand by the US dollar. On December 7, 2024, in Doha, Qatar, Indian Foreign Minister Subramaniam Jaishankar announced that the BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, are committed to supporting the US dollar. This statement came after US President-elect Donald Trump threatened to impose heavy tariffs on BRICS countries if they attempted to create a different currency. The US dollar remains the leading global currency and is essential for international trade. The BRICS nations emphasize their dedication to maintaining the dollar's status to prevent financial exclusion and trade interruptions. As these emerging economies navigate their relationships with the United States, the global political situation continues to evolve.
Alice Weidel nominated as AfD Chancellor candidate. Alice Weidel has been nominated as the Chancellor candidate for the Alternative for Germany, commonly known as the AfD. This represents an important shift in German politics. At 45 years old, Weidel is a Chinese-speaking lesbian economist who is raising two sons with a filmmaker from Sri Lanka. The AfD is gaining traction, currently polling at about 17%, making it the second largest party after the Conservative Party, which stands at 33%. A snap election is scheduled for February 23, 2025, due to growing discontent with Chancellor Olaf Scholz's coalition government. Weidel's nomination is designed to appeal to a broader audience, particularly among the middle class. Political analysts suggest that her candidacy could change the political landscape, potentially leading to a right-wing coalition by the 2029 election. The rise of the AfD reflects increasing opposition to immigration in Germany, which may influence policies related to immigration and social issues, affecting both citizens and international relations. The AfD was founded in 2013 and entered the Bundestag, Germany's federal parliament, in 2017. Weidel's candidacy could significantly shape the future direction of Germany.
Trump's rapid nominations for second administration. President-elect Donald Trump is quickly putting together his second administration, announcing nearly 24 key nominations, including important cabinet positions. This fast-paced approach shows a more experienced team compared to 2016, with a strong focus on loyalty among the nominees. However, this strategy has led to some controversies and unexpected challenges. Influential figures, including Trump's sons, are actively involved in the nomination process, affecting decisions like the feedback on former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo. Some prominent picks are facing issues, with two individuals withdrawing from consideration. The summary also points out potential future political dynamics, especially with figures like Ron DeSantis and J.D. Vance looking ahead to the 2028 presidential race. Understanding these developments is important, as they could shape U.S. policies and influence public opinion in upcoming elections.
Qatar's energy minister on LNG exports and market dynamics. Qatar's energy minister, Saad al-Kaabi, expressed confidence in U.S. President-elect Donald Trump's commitment to lifting limits on liquefied natural gas, or LNG, exports. At the Doha Forum in Qatar, al-Kaabi highlighted that the country is prepared for increased competition in the LNG market. He pointed out that even if the U.S. increases its LNG exports by up to 500 million tons, the success of projects will still rely on their commercial viability. Al-Kaabi also criticized the European Union's new corporate sustainability rules, which could impose fines of up to 5% on companies that do not comply. He warned that these regulations might discourage LNG imports from Qatar, a leading LNG exporter. The Qatar Investment Authority, valued at around $510 billion, may consider broadening its investments to avoid potential fines. The rise in U.S. LNG exports could lead to lower global prices, affecting producers like Qatar. Understanding these dynamics is crucial for grasping the future of global energy markets.
Israeli airstrike in southern Lebanon. On December 7, 2024, the Israeli military carried out an airstrike in southern Lebanon, targeting a Hezbollah fighter who posed a threat to Israeli troops. This operation took place under existing ceasefire agreements. Hezbollah, a Shiite militant group based in Lebanon, has been involved in ongoing conflicts with Israel since the early 2000s. The airstrike highlights the ongoing tensions in the region, which are rooted in long-standing territorial disputes and military conflicts. The international community often urges both sides to show restraint to avoid further escalation. The situation remains unstable, with significant consequences for regional stability and security. Understanding this incident is important, as it reflects the broader geopolitical dynamics between Israel and Hezbollah, impacting both civilians and military operations in the area.
Lebanese man freed after 40 years in Syrian prison. Ali al-Ali, a Lebanese man, has been freed from a Syrian prison after nearly 40 years of being missing. He was just 18 years old when he was arrested during the Lebanese Civil War, which lasted from 1975 to 1990. His brother, Muammar al-Ali, recognized him in a video that was shared online. This release happened during a significant advance by Syrian rebels in Hama, a city in Syria. The ongoing conflict in Syria has led to more than 100,000 Syrians being reported missing, with many families still searching for their loved ones. It's estimated that around 700 Lebanese individuals are believed to be held in Syrian prisons. This situation highlights serious human rights issues in Syria and the lasting impact of past conflicts on families. The issue of missing persons remains a major concern, with many families advocating for information about their loved ones. Understanding the historical context of the Lebanese Civil War and the Syrian conflict is crucial to grasp the significance of this event.
La Scala's season opening with Verdi's opera. On December 7, 2024, La Scala Opera House in Milan, Italy, launched its season with a new version of Giuseppe Verdi's opera, La Forza del Destino, meaning, the force of destiny. This performance delves into the effects of war, connecting historical conflicts from 1700 to the First World War with today's challenges. Director Leo Muscato emphasized the opera's strong message against violence. The cast included French baritone Ludovic Tezier as Don Carlo, Russian soprano Anna Netrebko as Leonora, and U.S.-born tenor Brian Jagd as Don Alvaro. Italian President Sergio Mattarella, who usually attends, was absent due to other commitments in Paris. La Scala is a vital cultural organization that promotes Italian traditions through opera. This adaptation serves as a powerful reminder of how war impacts society, encouraging audiences to reflect on current global conflicts. The event not only showcases artistic talent but also fosters conversation about the importance of peace and understanding in our world today.
Challenges faced by LGBTQ+ refugees in Kenya. LGBTQ+ refugees in Nairobi, Kenya, are facing serious challenges as they seek asylum. A group of 7 individuals gathers in a safe house to share their experiences. Anne, a refugee from Uganda, has been trying to reach Canada for over 6 years but encounters many obstacles, as the Kenyan government does not recognize sexual orientation as a valid reason for asylum. Since 2018, Kenya has nearly stopped approving exit permits for LGBTQ+ individuals. The Kakuma refugee camp, which houses about 300,000 people, has experienced violence against LGBTQ+ refugees. In 2018, 214 LGBTQ+ individuals were relocated to Nairobi for safety. Kazibwe, a refugee who spent 4 years in Kakuma, now runs a safe house in Nairobi, providing shelter and support to those in need. This situation highlights the urgent need for international advocacy and support for human rights. The lack of recognition for LGBTQ+ rights in Kenya has created a humanitarian crisis, affecting many individuals who are seeking safety and a better life. The stories of these refugees emphasize the importance of working together to protect vulnerable populations around the world.
Clashes in northwestern Pakistan. On December 7, 2024, armed conflicts erupted in northwestern Pakistan, near the Afghan border. Sadly, 6 Pakistani troops and 22 insurgents from the Tehrik-e-Taliban Pakistan, known as TTP, were killed. This militant group aims to establish a strict Islamic government and has ramped up its attacks on security forces since the U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan in 2021. The Pakistani military has been carrying out intelligence-based operations in the Waziristan region, a hotspot for militant activity. This ongoing conflict raises serious concerns about stability and security in the area, significantly affecting Pakistan's military strategy and its international relations. The situation underscores the challenges the Pakistani government faces in combating rising militancy.
TikTok creators urge followers to switch platforms amid ban threat. American content creators on TikTok are asking their followers to switch to competing platforms like Instagram and YouTube. This comes after a U.S. court decided that TikTok must be sold to a U.S.-based company by January 19, 2024, or face a ban. TikTok has 170 million users, mostly in the United States, particularly among younger audiences. Influencers like Chris Mowry and Chris Burkett are worried about losing their platforms and the financial effects on small businesses. This court decision stems from fears about risks to personal data due to TikTok's Chinese ownership by ByteDance. The situation highlights ongoing tension between U.S. lawmakers and foreign technology companies. If TikTok is banned, users could lose access to their accounts and content, while creators might face significant income loss. What does this mean for the future of foreign-owned tech in America?
University of Alberta review on pro-Palestinian encampment. A review by retired Justice Adele Kent found that the University of Alberta in Edmonton, Canada, had the legal right to remove a pro-Palestinian camp. The review, which is 142 pages long, pointed out that while it was reasonable for the university to call in police, other approaches like negotiation might have been more effective. This incident took place in May 2024 during rising tensions over Palestinian rights. The findings from this review could shape how universities manage future protests, promoting more dialogue and less reliance on police. This situation reflects broader movements advocating for justice and human rights, highlighting the need for educational institutions to thoughtfully address complex social issues.
U.S. accuses China of cyber espionage. The United States has accused China of running a cyber espionage campaign called Salt Typhoon, which allegedly targeted and recorded calls of senior American political figures. Ann Neuberger, the Deputy National Security Advisor for Cyber and Emerging Technology, made these remarks during a security conference in Manama, Bahrain, on December 7, 2024. This campaign is said to have affected dozens of companies around the world, including at least 8 telecommunications firms in the U.S., such as Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile. U.S. officials worry about the potential theft of sensitive metadata and its impact on national security. These allegations come amid ongoing tensions between the United States and China, as both countries are engaged in a broader competition over cybersecurity and technological power. Understanding this context is vital, as it highlights the importance of cybersecurity in safeguarding national interests and ensuring the integrity of communications. This situation may lead to increased scrutiny of foreign cyber activities and a push for stronger cybersecurity measures across various sectors.
UniCredit and Crédit Agricole negotiations. UniCredit, a major Italian bank, is set to discuss with Crédit Agricole, a French lender, about increasing Crédit Agricole's share in Banco BPM, another Italian bank. Currently, Crédit Agricole owns 9.9% and wants to raise it to 15%, but they need approval from the European Central Bank first. This comes after UniCredit made a bid of €10 billion, or about $10.58 billion, for Banco BPM. Shareholders of Banco BPM are concerned about how this could affect their investments and the overall market in Italy. The European Central Bank's decision is crucial and will significantly influence these discussions. If this merger goes through, it could lead to fewer banks in Italy, impacting consumer choices and the economy as a whole.
U.S. approves AI chip export to UAE. The U.S. government has authorized the shipment of advanced AI chips to a Microsoft facility in Abu Dhabi, the capital of the UAE. This collaboration with the UAE company G42 follows a $1.5 billion investment from Microsoft earlier in 2024. Concerns have been raised about G42's potential ties to the Chinese Communist Party and the risks of transferring sensitive technology to China. In October 2024, President Biden mandated that AI companies disclose details about their systems to address national security issues. The agreement restricts access to the facility in the UAE to individuals from countries under U.S. arms embargoes. This situation highlights the challenge of balancing technological progress with national security, impacting international relations and the tech landscape in the region.
Texas aligns with Trump on immigration plans. Texas is preparing to take a major role in the upcoming Trump administration's immigration strategy. Under Governor Greg Abbott, the state has actively resisted Biden's immigration policies and has taken strong actions at the U.S.-Mexico border. Texas has transported over 100,000 migrants to sanctuary cities in Democratic states. A ranch of over 1,400 acres along the Rio Grande has been suggested as a potential site for holding centers. The Texas Land Commissioner, Don Buckingham, is working to identify land within the 13 million acres owned by the agency for deportation operations. This shift reflects a larger national debate on immigration reform, which could significantly impact immigrant communities and law enforcement. Aligning with Trump may lead to increased deportations and stricter enforcement, affecting many families. It's important to understand these developments, as they could reshape immigration policies in the United States.
U.S. provides nearly $1 billion in aid to Ukraine. The U.S. is providing nearly $1 billion in aid to support Ukraine as it defends itself against Russia's invasion. This funding will be used for military equipment, including ammunition for HIMARS and drones. With this aid, the remaining funds in the Ukraine Security Assistance Initiative will drop to $2.21 billion. Since the conflict began in February 2022, the U.S. has committed over $62 billion to help Ukraine. This announcement was made at the Reagan National Defense Forum in Simi Valley, California. The aid aims to strengthen Ukraine's military and demonstrates the Biden administration's commitment to supporting Ukraine against ongoing Russian aggression. This aid package could also impact U.S.-Russia relations and influence global security.
CSIS to share information on foreign interference. The Canadian Security Intelligence Service, known as CSIS, is set to share important information about foreign interference with Pierre Poilievre, the leader of the Conservative Party of Canada. This decision follows a request from Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, who asked CSIS to update Poilievre on claims of foreign interference in Canadian politics. Poilievre has decided not to obtain the necessary security clearance to access sensitive documents related to these claims. The purpose of sharing this information is to reduce potential threats and support national security. Foreign interference can damage our democratic processes and undermine public trust in government. It's essential for everyone to understand this situation, as it emphasizes the need for openness and accountability in political leadership.
South Korea's political crisis deepens. South Korea is experiencing a serious political crisis following the arrest of former Defense Minister Kim Jong-un on December 8, 2024. He was detained due to his role in President Yoon Suk-yeol's controversial decision to declare martial law. This declaration was made on a Tuesday and lasted just 6 hours before being cancelled due to pushback from Parliament. The day after his arrest, Kim resigned amid strong reactions from opposition parties, who have started impeachment proceedings against President Yoon. This situation has plunged South Korea, located in East Asia, into its most significant political turmoil in decades, raising concerns about the stability of its democratic institutions. Public protests have erupted, showing widespread dissatisfaction with the government's actions. The ongoing unrest could have serious consequences for South Korea's economy and investor confidence, as citizens demand greater responsibility and openness from their leaders. Investigations into serious allegations against key officials are still ongoing, leaving the situation uncertain.
UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer's Gulf visit. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer has started a multi-day visit to the Gulf region, focusing on strengthening economic and defence ties with the United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia. This trip is Starmer's first to the region since he took office in July 2024. The UK government highlights the importance of these Gulf states as key partners. Trade between the UK and the UAE is valued at £23 billion British pounds, which is about $29.3 billion US. Meanwhile, trade with Saudi Arabia is estimated at £17 billion British pounds, or roughly $21.5 billion US. Starmer is looking to secure investments from these wealthy nations to help rebuild Britain's infrastructure and shift towards cleaner energy. The discussions will also cover regional stability, especially concerning the Israel-Gaza conflict. Additionally, there's potential for a free trade agreement with the Gulf Cooperation Council, which could increase bilateral trade by 16%, adding $8.6 billion British pounds, or about $10.9 billion US, each year. During his visit, Starmer will meet with key leaders, including President Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan of the UAE and Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman of Saudi Arabia. This diplomatic effort underscores the UK's strategy to strengthen ties in a region that is crucial for economic growth and security.
Insurgents advance near Damascus amid Syrian conflict. Insurgents in Syria have made major advances, reaching the suburbs of Damascus, the capital. This follows the withdrawal of Syrian government troops from the south, raising worries among local residents. Thousands are fleeing to the Syria-Lebanon border in search of safety. The offensive began on November 27, 2024, with insurgents capturing key cities like Aleppo and Hama. As the situation intensifies, calls for political talks in Geneva are growing. This ongoing conflict, which started in 2011, has led to a humanitarian emergency, putting civilians at risk of danger and displacement. The Syrian government, led by President Bashar al-Assad, faces challenges from various factions, including the Hayat Tahrir al-Sham group, which has ties to al-Qaeda. These developments could lead to further unrest in the region, affecting neighboring countries and international relations.
Trump and Macron's meeting in Paris. On December 7, 2024, U.S. President-elect Donald Trump and French President Emmanuel Macron met in Paris, where they shared a series of firm handshakes. This marked Trump's first trip abroad after his election victory on November 5, 2024. Their meeting coincided with the reopening of Notre Dame Cathedral, an important cultural site in Paris that had been renovated after a devastating fire in April 2019. The handshake between Trump and Macron symbolizes the ongoing relationship between the United States and France, reflecting the strong personalities of both leaders. The reopening of Notre Dame is expected to boost tourism and support local economies, showcasing France's resilience. This event is significant as it may influence international relations and shape our perceptions of leadership in global politics. That is all the news for today. Thank you for listening to today's Headphone News. News summary brought to you by AI.